Welcome to Compassion Speaks, where we give a voice to the nonprofits in the community. I'm your host, Kevin Weaver, and today on our show we have Mary Beals-Luedtka, Area Agency on Aging Director for NACOG. A mouthful, but welcome, Mary.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
I'm
it.
thrilled. And you know, I've kept telling the girls that are running the cameras, tape this. We've been talking before we started, and the conversation has been excellent. And so we're just going to carry on. And so I ask you this question, which I'm sure many want to know. What exactly is NACOG, Area Agency on Aging? I'm reading it so I get it right. What is that?
Well, the Area Agencies on Aging are a national network.
Okay.
And they were born out of the Older Americans Act. The Older Americans Act was signed in 1965, and the Area Agencies on Aging started in the 70s. So we've been around 40 plus years.
Oh, okay.
There's only 622 of me in the United States. So it is a small group. We do work closely together in national advocacy. So we are the federally designated service and planning agency for aging for whatever service area we've been assigned.
Okay.
Our service area is Apache, Navajo, Coconino, and Yavapai counties off reservation, as the tribes have their own area agencies on aging.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it would
so
have been all
that's just like the big picture view.
Yeah, and that's a big area.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're one of the biggest geographically in the United States.
Boy, I should say so. Well, we're really honored to have you today. She flew all the way in from Flagstaff, and we're going to do the show, and I think she's flying all the way back, so we'll make the most of this time. Tell us real quick a little bit about yourself. I mean, you're telling me you're a nurse and your background, and I think that's all important because you bring so much to your position, which not just I'm the buck stops here.
Yeah.
I come from a background that is so relevant to what you do.
Well, I spent 10 years in nursing. Did some neonatal nursing, but then ended up in gerontology and really loved that population.
Well, the neonatals do always end up in gerontology.
Well, yeah, newborn to the later parts of our lives.
Sure.
And I also am a paralegal in elder law. I'm a vocal performance major. I spent years in entertainment and singing and performing.
So before you leave, will you sing something?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah.
Actually, I did remember several months ago we had that the girl from what do you call the 4-H?
Oh, yeah.
And I coaxed her into singing. She did a great job.
How cute.
But so I mean, saying all this to say, you know what you're talking about.
Well, I hope so, because I've been at the NACOG for 26 years.
Oh, okay,
and
great.
I've been the director for 13 and a half.
And that's what it's called, the COG?
Oh, yeah. And there's COGs all over the United States. They're councils of governments. It's a membership organization, whereas towns and cities all have a seat at the table. All my board of directors is basically elected officials from the counties, towns, and cities. And the tribes are also part of the COG.
Excellent.
So it's a big organization. Area Agency on Aging is the second largest program at the COG. And we do such a large amount of things. And I think in a nutshell, we are the advocate. We are your advocate. I am the Area Agency on Aging. I'm your Area Agency on Aging director. So it's my job to really track everything that's going on with older adults, whether it be at the local, state, regional, or national level. So I spend a lot of my time on advocacy, but it's also my job and my charge to have a comprehensive, coordinated system of services for seniors, and working with providers, and the federal and state dollars come down through the State Unit on Aging to us to then implement the many programs that we have, which are multiple. A lot of folks just know us as maybe Meals on Wheels.
Right.
But that's not the only program that we do. That is one of the many important programs that we do administer. Sometimes the conflict is our mission is to provide answers on aging through advocacy, resources, and services, period. That's our mission statement. But then we also have to be compliant with the federal dollars and state dollars.
Sure.
And so we are public stewards of this money. And so that's then sometimes where the rub comes with providers. Why do we have to do all these regulations? Well, I'm really sorry if you accept the federal or state dollars. This is what we have to do, and I have to monitor that. So, it's a balancing act, because really, ultimately, it's about the clients. It's about all the persons that live in our region and how we raise that boat.
Yeah, it has to always be about that. Well, with all that being said, what programs are here locally?
Well, we have, really importantly, we have case management.
Okay.
And the case managers are really, they're care coordinators. and they're bachelor's level or above.
Okay.
These are really, professionals. They go in the homes and assess the clients. It's in like an 18-page assessment, psychosocial, financial assessment. It isn't like money-based. Our programs aren't. They're donation-based. But we do triage, and we're going to serve those that need us the most, socially and economically, obviously, first.
Sure.
Most of our programs are for those who are 60 plus, and I'll mention a few more that are more than that.
Okay.
So the case managers, first you start with central intake. We have a toll-free number. You can call there for anything. You can call not just for our services, but what's available in the community. What are the private pay options for me in the community? So information referral is really important.
Is it also like a crisis hotline for?
No, it's not a crisis
nothing like that.
hotline, but we could certainly help if during the day
Yeah.
get you to someone
Okay.
if you have a crisis. So anything to do with long-term supports and services,
I see.
which includes our disability
Oh,
community.
okay.
So it's not just about the area agency and aging, it's all long-term supports and services. Can call that toll-free number 877-521-3500 and get a person who's nationally certified in information and referral to help them. So it starts there. If they deem that it's necessary for a care coordinator to go out, then that gets assigned, and the care coordinators live in the communities. We have an office here in Wagon Wheel Plaza,
Okay.
and the care coordinators go to the home, do a home visit, and assess those clients for whatever services could possibly help them to stay at home, maintain their independence, and keep their autonomy. And so we try to encourage the clients and the families to get involved with the care plan so that we're not just going in and saying, this is what you need. How do we know? Yes, we're professionals, and we can look at all those pieces and make suggestions, but we want to try to help the client figure out what they need. We also then fund Meals on Wheels. We fund congregate meals, which is when the seniors go into the senior center.
Right.
The most important thing about congregate meals, in my opinion, is the socialization and education that they
Absolutely.
receive, because isolation is a killer.
Yes.
We don't want our isolated seniors to be isolated.
Right.
We know that's exacerbates health problems. We also have attendant care. We have providers that provide attendant care. That is kind of a combination of personal care and housekeeping. So maybe somebody needs help with a bath. Maybe they need help changing their linens. If your arthritis is bad or you just can't do that. These are all things that help them stay at home longer and maintain their health at least, and sometimes improve their health by having someone go in there and do that. So it's non-medical.
Okay. That was
We're
gonna
the
be my next
non-medical.
question.
We're
I
the
gotcha.
non-medical. You need medical. You're going to be on access and working with the medical.
And that would
the
be home
community.
health.
And that would be home health.
Exactly,
And we do not do
exactly.
that. We also have ombudsman program, which are advocates trained to help anyone living in a licensed long-term care facility. I love the ombudsman program, especially because of my background as a nurse and working in gerontology.
Well, and it's a fun word to say.
Ombudsman, yeah, it's a Swedish word actually. It's an advocate for. So
There you go.
we have that's really based on a lot of volunteers, but we have
Sure.
one full-time staff and 2 part-time, and they really stand up for the rights and help people understand what their rights are.
Sure.
Especially with that post-World War II generation, they don't think they have any rights anymore,
Exactly.
and they think this is my lot in life.
So true. I have nothing more to offer.
I'm done.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, you're not.
Exactly.
You've got rights, and here's what they are, and we're going to help you if you want us to.
Exactly.
If you want us to.
Exactly.
We also have legal services through, up here it's through Southern Arizona Legal Aid. They have a small contract with us.
Okay.
We also have Medicare counseling, which is huge. We have our coordinator right here in your community, Jana Bays, and I know this is a wild number, but it's the truth, and we have it totally backed up. This year alone, we've saved clients $5 million.
Wow.
Because we have put them on the proper plans, gotten them on the proper drug plans, and gotten them on the low-income assistance that they needed.
Are
And
you
that's-
talking about in your area or?
Yeah, in my
or-
region.
Wow. That's a lot of
Period.
money.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she just went nationally, and they figured out what she was doing, and they're like, we all need to track that.
My
Because
goodness.
that's huge. For a $62,000 investment
Yeah.
in that program, we saved clients $5 million. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But it's there, and it's all documented, and it's amazing what that group can do for you.
Wow.
Because not only can they help you with Medicare, but public benefits. It's a quagmire. It's hard to understand. When I was in law school, they were like, okay, this is our class on public benefits, the black hole. I'm not kidding. You know, it's like, okay. So that's a great program up here. It's very much available. I know right now she's meeting in the apartments behind the senior center in Sholo and just is flooded every time she gets there. So you can always call the toll-free number for any of this stuff.
Okay.
So those are the main ones that we have up here. We do have a little bit of transportation dollars that we help the mobility management program with, but that's small. I wish it was bigger, and I'm exploring new ideas and new things to do with that. Yeah. So.
Well, with the mention of all those programs, what would you say? And you told me you're doing this for 27 years now.
26 and a half years.
26.
I started out with the Elder Rights Unit, though, and I ran the Ombudsman, the benefits, and the legal program.
So what would you say, and let's talk about the White Mountains, Sholo, Pine Top, Lakeside, this area. Any idea what our #1 need would be amongst our elders?
Oh, yeah. Transportation.
Is it transportation?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's transportation. We just did a needs assessment. And so that really ends up at the top of the list time and time again. People can't get out and drive.
True.
And yes, you're so lucky because you do have a bus system up here.
Yeah.
But what if you can't get to the bus stop? So
Yeah.
you need door to door and door through door.
You know, that's true. Of course, everybody now knows I work also for hospice. And, you know, that's one of the things that people have such a hard time giving up at end of life is their driver license. And it becomes a real, bugaboo, if you will.
Well, it's independence.
Exactly.
And now it's like, okay, we've lost our independence.
Exactly.
And how do we, and so I did set up a pilot project out here a year or two ago with vouchers so that you could hire your neighbor. But you get a W-9 because we pay the client, and it's really not income, but because of the W-9, nobody wanted to do it, and they didn't use the program.
I wonder how many people knew it. Stephanie, did you know that? Hannah, did you know they had a voucher program that you could hire your neighbor? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
so they didn't use it. And it was mostly what we started out, because it was small, we started out with our clients that were already being case managed.
Right.
So it wasn't like widely publicized because it was so small, but nobody wanted to fill out the paperwork. Nope, don't want to fill out the paperwork.
Is it still available?
No.
Oh.
No, because I'm trying to find a way around that.
Oh, okay.
And I have not given up. And my staff says when Mary focuses on something, it's going to change. Because I have tenacity, and I really need to get across finance, and you know, and I've talked to the auditors. It's IRS I have to get through now. Is that this is not income for them? We are reimbursing them for a service.
Exactly.
We're paying mileage, and we have it all documented how to do it. So anyway, I'm still working on that, and if we do that, then I will let you know myself.
Yeah, please do.
When that's done, because really transportation, also access to health care is a big one up here, and part of that is the transportation to the health care. And then, you know, having to go off the mountain for certain specialties is a toughie.
Right.
But we do pay a price for living rurally.
That's true.
I'm a Iowa farm girl, and so grew up on 1,100 acres. So I understand rural from the marrow of my bones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful trade-off, but you're right. It's a barrier. It's a barrier.
And you know, if we could help offset the mileage for our friends and neighbors, maybe they'd be more willing to step up and help drive us. So I'm going to keep working on that.
Oh, yeah. I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
You know, what about, I often hear issues of like companionship. You have volunteers, right? What's that program called?
The Senior Companion Program is through Northern Arizona University.
Oh, that's not you?
No, but we have a memorandum of understanding with them, and we are a host agency for that up here, and they do have a coordinator up here. And so they had kind of a lull in services, and I think that's coming back. So when our case managers feel like someone needs a senior companion, then we work with them to get someone assigned to go in and spend time with them. And it's a great program on two levels.
Yeah.
Most of the senior companions are seniors.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they have to be, don't they?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a...
But older seniors.
Right.
And so then they get a purpose.
Exactly.
Because without purpose, we also die.
Exactly.
I mean, we do.
Exactly.
I mean, that's that isolation, the lack of purpose, no reason to get up in the morning. You start to fail health-wise because of those issues. You know, that socioeconomic impact, all those impacts our health. So it's great for the senior companions, and it's great for the residents, or the clients or the patients, however you want to refer to them.
I was in an exercise group, believe it or not. I wasn't participating. I was just sitting there.
Oh, come on.
Over at Salterra, of all places.
Oh, yeah?
And we got talking about that. Nan over there told me, she said, really what folks suffer from most here is that isolation, that lack of companionship. And we were talking about this before we started. Nobody touching them anymore, that contact.
That physical touch is so important.
It
and
is.
now I'll buy this. I've had clients over the years that they don't want to be touched.
Right.
But most people, just a kind hand, a shake, a hand, a touch means so much. And you know right away which clients want a hug and who don't.
Right, right.
You know right away. I mean, I do instinctively.
Well, I've never had one senior person, when I've asked, can I give you a hug, say no.
Yeah, really, it's rare.
It is. And when we talk about a sense of belonging and a sense and a purpose in life, this kind of dawned on me, and I shared it with the group one morning or the other day in hospice, is a lot of people, they feel like they've lost their sense of meaning and their purpose in life because they grew up, many of them, again, the post-World War II, they grew up where I've got to be doing and giving and involved. And they're at a place in their life where they don't have to be doing and giving anymore. They have to be receiving. And I think they're losing their sense of purpose because we're not giving to them. We're not allowing them to receive from us, receive our attention so that they can just share their stories.
I think it's a two-way street, though. I agree with you, but I also agree we have to allow them the opportunity to give back.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and I think, and then just giving, by sharing their stories, they're giving back to us.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility maybe to kind of draw from them.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one little old lady comes to church every Sunday, and she puts $1 in the offering plate. $1 is going to do nothing. But for her,
it means something.
Exactly. So,
something.
and I know we run into a lot of this with hospice and different volunteer programs. You can't take anything from anybody. Boy, you've got to let them give.
Well, in the Older Americans Act, there is a clause in there that you have to allow every recipient of the Older Americans Act an opportunity to contribute.
I did not know that.
Every client has to be given that opportunity.
So if they want to give their caregiver or their caseworker a birthday card with a $5 bill in it,
the $5 bill has to go to the program.
and
Can't
that's
go to the
fine.
caregiver.
And that's fine.
Right.
And everybody gets, well, we
Yeah.
should get that.
Yeah.
But give them that sense. Don't say, oh, no, I can't do that. But just receive it.
There's a fine line there, and I agree with you. I think the government gets a little twisted up about that. I did a lot of home visits as a legal advocate and in nursing. And sometimes people wanted me to have a cup of coffee just because that was their way.
Right.
That's how they were. And so I accepted, or a cookie, or they'd bake me a thing of bread and I would encourage them not to. But sometimes if you don't take it,
Right.
they're going to feel like slapped in the face.
Well, and you.
So if it's worth less than $5 monetarily,
Exactly.
then don't just say no.
Yeah, and if you don't take it, you really have nullified your visit.
Yes.
Exactly. And I get why the government perhaps goes overboard, because we don't want to be guilty of taking advantage
And
of
there's
vulnerable
abuse.
adults.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of abuse, but again, there's that line.
But still, we're not taking the responsibility to them to allow them, to give. And as you said, if nothing else, just pulling their stories from them.
Oh, I love that. And also there's other ways that they can help. There's ways that seniors could volunteer from home. One of the things I'd like to start up in here in Cholo is we have a reassurance specialist, and she phones seniors.
Yeah, what a good idea.
But we could have volunteers helping with that.
Absolutely.
And I think it's something that we need to focus on. So we have 2 reassurance specialists on staff, 1.5.
Really?
One of them's up here, and they call all the Mom's Meals clients, because I have clients in rural areas that we can't get a senior center to. So, and they're thrilled to be getting a meal, but nobody goes to their door every day.
Right.
So my biggest fear was the loss of that home visit, which is huge, in my opinion. I mean, that's just so valuable. So now they get calls from the reassurance specialist.
Excellent. I've often thought about that with regard to the moms and the Meals on Wheels, maybe having volunteers. I don't know if this could work. Volunteers kind of have a meal also delivered for them, go in and sit down in a patient or client's home and eat a meal with them.
Well, another thing, the city of Holbrook is now having their transportation driver who used to do Meals on Wheels. They're not doing that out of Holbrook anymore. It's Mom's Meals. So the city lady is keeping that man on, and he's still doing home visits.
Oh,
He's still going by and checking on him.
oh,
Isn't that cool?
that is cool.
And he's, I mean, that's something that could work well with volunteers as well.
Exactly. Showing up with a sack from McDonald's. Hey, I'm here to visit. Let's have lunch.
So we just started, we just signed a new contract with Sholo Meals on Wheels.
I heard that.
And the clients are so happy.
Yeah.
They're so happy because somebody's coming to their door every day. It's wonderful.
Yeah, you're right. Talk about maintaining a sense of purpose. Somebody showing up. If it's nothing more than saying, come in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and these sound like small and trivial things, but when you lose them,
Yeah.
you know,
Literally, I can remember some of my home clients. I mean, that was the highlight of the day is when I showed up.
yeah.
And they would comb their hair and get all ready, unless I was there to bathe them.
Exactly. I've said this before, but I delivered a meal one day for Meals on Wheels, and the lady was sitting at her table.
Yeah.
The placemat, and she had her fork in her hand.
Yes.
I mean, she was ready to eat.
It's like, oh my gosh, I
It's
love
somebody
that.
showing up.
Yeah, it's that human touch, and that is the most important. We do have an obligation to get food out.
Yes.
And that's important. And so when I don't have another alternative, then I do have backup. And I love that. And I think
Right,
they do
right.
a great job. But that reassurance piece is really important to me personally and to my staff.
See, for me, and you know, coming from a strong religious background and being a chaplain, I think that that identifies some of the spiritual problems that countries and politics can fall into, is when we really stop serving our elders. We pull back from
Yeah.
meeting their needs and advocating for those who can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And people who are isolated, they can't speak for themselves anymore.
And also giving them a venue for the ones who can, and helping them
Right, right.
and getting them facts. Because there's so much propaganda on Facebook, social media, the
Absolutely.
news. I'm sorry, there's just a lot of stuff going on. And so my job is to get the facts. I'm on with two national organizations. I serve on the board of one for 9 years, just rolled off, term limited. Now I'm on another one.
Right,
and
right.
I'm an officer. And so I've got my pulse on Washington all the time. And so what I try to do is bring back what's going on with older adult stuff.
Right.
You make a choice. It's
Right,
totally bipartisan what I do. It's like, this is the facts, you decide. It isn't about Republicans, it's not about
Exactly,
Democrats. It's
exactly.
about what is for the good of the people. You need to know what the facts are so that you can make informed decisions.
Well, information empowers, without a doubt. And
yeah.
just bring, you know what I thought, and maybe one day we can get you to come back. I've been bugging Mel to let me do this. I want to set up a live audience right there, 8 or 10 people.
Oh, fun.
Bring some elders in. And could we do like a question and answer thing?
Absolutely,
That
love
would be,
it.
That would be a blast.
I love doing that kind of thing. I like to go out, what I call coffee talks.
Okay.
And I only ask 4 questions of the audience.
Okay.
And then we get into conversations. And so I ask, why do you like living here? What are some of the issues about living here? What are some things that you think the Area Agency on Aging can work on? And what do you think you can work on? That's it, 4 questions. And then it gets the conversation going. And down in
Right,
Congress,
right.
we did that. And I went back 4 years later. And out of the conversation that we had, they built a medical clinic.
Man, wow.
And they said it's because of that coffee talk that started it. I'm like, you're kidding me. And they said, no.
So Hannah, to hear that, we're going to set up a coffee talk with
Yeah.
Mary Beals-Luedtka,
Yeah.
and we'll get that filled up. And Mel said I could do it, so we're going to do this.
Very
that'd be
fun.
excellent. And who knows what could maybe spring out of this little community?
You never know.
From a coffee talk.
And I think
Yeah.
people need to know that there are a lot of volunteer opportunities, and where there aren't, I always tell my staff, if you think of a volunteer opportunity, write a job description, get it to me.
Well, that's part of their lack of feeling like I no longer have purpose, because they are isolated. I'm talking about people like in Saltaire and the Havens.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've been starting to do some brainstorming. What can you do from a nursing home?
Well, I know one thing they could do. They could volunteer for the Ombudsman program.
Ah.
Because the Ombudsman program is really, it really relies on volunteers. And really their first purpose is to regularly visit their assigned home, get to know the residents, spend time with them, talk about their stories, look at their picture books. And then when a problem arises, the resident knows, oh, that's my ombudsman. I'll go to her or him. We had one of my council members who's a long-time ombudsman up here. And we really have a lack of ombudsman volunteers in this area and would love to have folks come forward.
Okay.
And you do go through a training.
Okay.
We'll come to you and train you. You're certified by the state of Arizona as an ombudsman. You wear your little,
Excellent.
and you have to, report your hours. And if you do have a problem, your coordinator is going to help you through that.
Perfect.
So I'd love to see more people doing that because they need more people to just visit.
Right, right.
And that is a great program.
And that's simple stuff to do.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time, and you talked about training and all that. This month, you do have a conference.
I'm
Let's talk
glad you
about the
brought that
conference real
up.
quick.
So we
Yeah.
do, this will be our 25th conference, October 5th and 6th. And one of the things I also have to do is make sure that we are doing education for the public and other professionals in the Aging Network. And this is our premier event. I started it in 1991 with $3,000. It is now totally corporate sponsored. We try to keep the prices down for the participants because I want to bring a national conference to this level. There are national leaders that are going to
Wow.
be at the table, people that you wouldn't get a chance to see unless you left the state of Arizona. And so we're really excited about this event. And every other year we do that now. It used to be annually. But on the opposite years, we do a state summit on aging. So I encourage folks to also look for other presentations that we do throughout the communities. And we're available for speaking.
Right.
Call the toll-free number and say, I'd like to have a speech on, or could someone talk to us about, and we'll find the right person on
There you
staff to
go.
get out there, and it could be me.
Excellent. Could be. Ask for her, she'll come.
Yeah.
And then real quick, you mentioned to me, 1 minute left, that I didn't realize this for sure, but you guys are a not-for-profit.
Yes, we are. We are a not-for-profit. We're also registered with the state of Arizona for the Arizona tax credit.
Okay.
And we definitely do take donations.
Excellent. See, that's good to know.
Yeah.
We thought we'd throw that in because, people, they're looking for great places to spend some money. And helping finance and be involved in a program that focuses on elders.
And the money goes to services, and we're very, one thing about the Area Agency on Aging, accountability is number one. We also have a quality assurance manager, so those dollars are used and stretched as far as we can. We stretch our federal dollars, $4 for every one we get.
Wow.
So.
Well, our time is whisked by. I was going to try
Darn.
to talk Mary into singing a song for us, but you're off the hook. We're out of time. Thank you for joining us today, and tune in next month to hear Compassion Speak.